going on, everybody who is checking in? As y'all are checking in, go ahead and shout yourself out in the comment section. I'm getting my pinned comment. My next event is workonyourgame.live. As y'all are checking in, go ahead and shout yourselves out in the comment section. Speak your name and be recognized. Tell me your name and location, your actual name, and your geographical location. Because here's the good news, folks. My next live event, you can consume it. You can be an attendee of my next live event the same way you are attending this live stream right now. Is you can do it from your computer, not from your phone, but from your computer. My next live event is Work on Your Game Live. It will be virtual. It's on May 5th and 6th. But people shout themselves out in the comment section. We're gonna get into this in a minute. I'm gonna go into 6 specific tactics that every personal brand entrepreneur needs to be doing on a daily basis. If you are building a personal brand, if you already got a personal brand, if you have a brand, you got some followers on social, you want to turn it into a business that is actually paying you money where you could at least pay your bills. Maybe you're not trying to be rich, you just want to pay your bills so you could do this thing full time. That's what we're going to talk about here. So I'm going to give everybody like 30 seconds. I'm going to take a sip of this water right here, and then we're going to get right into it. Belford, Brother Bell, checking in from Oklahoma. What's going on, sir? As y'all are checking in, shout yourselves out. We're going to get into this. All right, we're going to get into it now. I ain't waiting no more. Y'all been taking too long. So anyway, for those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre all day. I'm a former 9-year pro athlete. I'm the author of 31 publications, including Work on Your Game, including The Third Day, including the Overseas Basketball Blueprint, including 55 daily people skills, including the Mirror of Motivation, including the Bulletproof Bundle, which is a 4-book bundle. I've written a lot of books. I'm not going to list all 31 of them here, but I will sell you all 31. We got Kenya in the building, so we are already international. We got somebody from Kenya checking in. And I created this whole brand and business, this whole framework. It's called Work on Your Game. It's all about taking the tools that you need to succeed in sports and translating and using those tools at work and in everyday life. So what I'm going to share here, this is a, yes, Super U is also one of them. This is a primer, let's just say. This not even a preview, because I'm not going to talk about specifically this at Work on Your Game Live, but this is a primer for any of you who owns a personal brand. Whether you come to my event or not, I'm going to tell you 6 things that you should be doing every single day to move your business forward. If you have a brand that you want to make into a business, the brand and business are not the same thing. But if you are putting yourself out there and the main character in what you do is you as a person, meaning people are buying into you personally, and then they're moving on to whatever it is you got going on, your books, your coaching, your courses, your events, your XYZ, whatever it is you're selling, your products and your services, understand that there are things you need to be doing every single day to make sure that your business is continually moving forward. So let's get right into it. And if anybody has a question or comment while I'm talking, go ahead and post it in the comments, and I'll address the good ones when I'm done. So the first thing is you got to be discoverable. You have to be where people can actually find you. All of you are on social media right now, so you probably understand the concept of being somewhere where you can be seen, heard, and known, where people actually know that you are alive and they know that you exist. If you're not somewhere where people can know that you exist and they know you're alive, you can have the best stuff in the world, but you're going to have a problem. So you need to figure out how are you going to be discovered, and understand that being discoverable does not just mean you need to get a lot of followers on social media. You could be discoverable in 10 different places, and one place might be really popping off right now, another place might be pretty quiet, but you want to keep more than one place of being discoverable open, especially if they're places that you do not own, which most of the time they are places that you don't own, because if you own them, then that means you're already discovered. Those people already know you. So you're trying to get discovered on YouTube, Instagram, you're running ads, you're appearing on other people's platforms, you got billboards out on the highway, you're making phone calls, you're robo-calling people, you're in the yellow pages, whatever things you're doing to get yourself seen, heard, and known, understand that you don't own any of those platforms. So if any one of those platforms either stops working the way that it's been working, or for whatever reason you don't want to do it anymore, maybe it's costing you too much money, maybe it's just not getting you any results, maybe you said something that they don't like on that platform so they kick you off, you want to have multiple ways of getting seen out here. So don't just look at your Instagram or just your Facebook or just your TikTok or whatever, because even though it might be popping right now, it might not be popping tomorrow, it might not be popping next week. So you always got to be somewhere that people can see you. And here's the other thing. if you're going to be using any form of media to get seen, do something that shows people that you're actually good. This is the next thing to do. Show people that you're actually good at what you do. So if you're an athlete, for example, when I first came out, for those of you who, I don't know if any of you remember, when I first came out on the internet was over 15 years ago. I was publishing this basketball videos of me working out. And all I was doing was just showing myself playing ball, because at the time I was playing ball. That's all I did. So the thing that you discovered me doing was seeing this dude who you never heard of practicing on the court and playing in games, and he looks like he can play. Because what was I selling? I was selling my ability to play ball. So my example was me playing ball. If I'm doing something like professional speaking, I'm going to post a clip of me doing a speaking gig. Why? Because that's what the bigger picture. If you come into my world, I'm probably going to try to sell you some form of a speaking gig, so that's why I'm going to show you an example of me doing a speaking gig. If I'm a information marketer, I'm going to give you some form of information for free as an example, so that you know I'm good, and then you're going to come deeper into my world, and then I'm going to give you the bigger information, and you're going to pay for it. So whatever it is that you do, if you're girls out here these days, and I guess guys too, they're on OnlyFans, right? And OnlyFans is not free. You got to sign up to be on somebody's OnlyFans. So on their Instagram or their TikTok or their YouTube, what's the girl going to show you? She's going to show you a preview of what you're going to get on OnlyFans. So you like that little picture where she hardly has any clothes on? All right, now come over to my OnlyFans where I have no clothes on, and now you're going to pay for it. So the bottom line is, I don't care how you do it or what you're doing, you want to give people a sample of what they're going to get if they come deeper into your world. So you have to be discoverable, doing the thing that's going to take them to the next level. So another example is, for me, I'm an author. I've written a whole bunch of books. So if you look at my posts on IG, a lot of times, if it's a reel or a video, usually you see me giving you clips of my podcast. And my podcast comes out every day. That's one of the, my highest level clients are all people who found me through podcasts, not through Instagram, but through podcasts. So I'm often posting clips of my podcasts. I want you to go over there, because my top people are always on podcasts, or they find me through my podcast, let's put it that way. But over here on IG, for example, or if you're watching this on YouTube, my posts, my pictures, I always put these long captions, right? And captions that you got to sit there and read. It's like a blog post every time I post a picture on IG. Now, why is that? Because I'm an author. I write books. So if you won't read a caption on Instagram, you probably will not read a book. And if you're not interested in reading books, I'm not interested in you. Why? Because I sell books. So if you don't want to read books, then it's all good. You need to go somewhere else. I'm not the person for you, and I'm all right with that. And that's a side note there. You do not need everybody in the world in your audience. You just need the right people who are actually willing and able and capable of actually paying for whatever it is you're selling. So that's number one, be discoverable. Number two, you got to get people off the apps and onto your list. Now this one, I posted a quick reel about this earlier. It was either last week or the week before, and Instagram did not like this reel at all. Because I know when you post something on Instagram, their moderators or whoever works at Instagram, they listen to what you said, and then they decide, are they going to promote it and let it get seen by a lot of people, or are they going to suppress it and not let it get seen by anybody? They seriously suppressed that reel. It might have been the worst performing reel that I ever posted when I posted that, and I'm not joking. Because what I was saying in that reel is exactly what y'all need to know when you run the business, is that you cannot let all of your audience or your customers or your tribe, whatever you want to call them, you cannot let them stay on a social media platform, because you do not own a social media platform. None of you owns Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or TikTok or what's the other one, any one of these other social media apps, and they can kick you off any day they want, or any given moment they can just decide, you know what? You can't reach your audience for free anymore. Now you got to pay. Y'all remember Facebook? Some of y'all who are old enough and been in the game long enough, y'all might remember. When Facebook first came out with pages, like what they call now business pages, at first they were just called pages. And you could have your brand on your page, and every time you made a post, everybody who was following your page saw your post. Everybody. So if you had 10,000 fans, yes, you get hacked too. If you had 10,000 fans, and they used to call them fans. Instead of likes, they called them fans. If you had 10,000 fans on Facebook and you posted a status update, all 10,000 people would see that status update. That's how it used to be. Then Facebook got smart. You know what they said? They said, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to show, instead of you got 10,000 fans, we're going to show your post to 250 of your 10,000 fans. And if you want the other 9,750 of your fans to see your post, you got to pay us. So Facebook start charging you to reach your own audience. And by the way, I don't know if any of y'all didn't know, Facebook owns Instagram. So if y'all think that's not coming to Instagram or is not already here, which it actually is here and is coming and is going to get worse. They will charge you money to reach the people who already said they want to follow you. This is going to happen. It's going to come a time when you post something on one of these platforms and nobody sees it unless you pay them money. I think that's the extreme of it, but it's going in that direction. So you cannot leave all of your audience or your customers or your prospects on a social media app because somebody said you can get hacked. You can get kicked off. You could post something that they don't like. You could just say something that they disagree with and they're not going to let anybody see it because they just don't agree with what you're saying. Even though it's not supposed to go that way. I mean, that's a whole different conversation. But this is why you got to get people off of here. You got to get them onto your list. Now, what is your list? What do I mean when I say that? A list is very simple. Let me make this real simple. It is a way that you can contact the people who are interested in you directly without having to go through a middleman like an app, like Instagram. If you got to go through Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or YouTube to reach a person, then they're not on your list. That's their list. So all of you out there, I don't care how many followers you got on social media, okay? You don't have any followers on social media. You look at my Instagram page right now, I think last time I looked, I had 16,600 some followers. But that's not true. I have 0 followers. I have no followers on Instagram. I don't have any followers. You know how I know I don't have any followers? Because if Instagram deletes my account, or I delete my account, or I just stop using Instagram, what happens to all 16,000 of those people? Nothing. They keep using Instagram. All of y'all who are watching this right now, if I stop using Instagram tomorrow, what's going to happen to you? Nothing happens to you. You keep using Instagram. So you're not my follower. Because if you're my follower and I stop using Instagram, you should disappear with me because you're mine, right? But you're not mine. You will keep using Instagram. All of us are Mark Zuckerberg's followers. So if you don't know who Mark Zuckerberg is, he's the guy who owns this app. None of you have any followers. Everybody who's watching this has 0 followers. Unless you are an owner of Instagram. Unless you own a piece of the company, you don't have any followers. So if you are building your business and you're using social media to get known, there's nothing wrong with that. Just understand this is rented land. All right. Do not act like you own this land. You do not own this land. And if you know anybody who ever got their account shut down or deleted or suspended and they don't even know why, all right, ask them. They'll let you know how little of this you actually own. You own nothing on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You own absolutely nothing. You are a renter, and they will kick you out just as quickly as they let you in. How easy was it for you to get in? It was free, right? And how easy can they kick you out? For free. So make sure you need to have a mechanism to move people from here on this app into your world. So you see that link right there that says get tickets to my event, work on your game live. You go there, you put your email address in. Now I have your email address. Now I can communicate with you without going through this app. If I decide I want to just email you direct, I can just email you direct. You get in my text list. Y'all see me talking every day about getting a daily motivation text. You can get direct with me. I'll have your information and we can text each other one-on-one directly. So these are the contact informations that you have for people. You want somebody's contact information, what do you ask for? You can get their phone number, you get their email address, or their physical address. That's pretty much the 3 ways you can contact somebody, right? Now, of course, you want to know their name, but as long as you got somebody's phone number, email, or physical mailing address, you can contact them directly. If you do not have one of these 3 things, that person is not on your list. And I want y'all to notice something. Look at Facebook, look at YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm gonna stop listing all of them. But I can't get your email address through Instagram. Like all of you who are watching this right now, if I wanted your email address, Instagram will not give it to me. They have it, but they won't give it to me. If I want your email address right now, they will not give me your email address. Chandler, I appreciate that for getting the badge. So if I wanted Chandler's email address, Instagram won't tell me her email address. Instagram knows her email address. They know my email address, but they will not give us that information to each other. So I got to figure out a way to get Chandler or any one of you to get off of here and give me your email address somewhere else so that now, just in case something happens to Instagram or something happens to me or you, we can still communicate without the middleman. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, these are middlemen. Again, don't get married to these apps. They will get rid of you just as quickly as they bought you in, and I think a lot of people just don't understand that this is rented land. I like these apps. I appreciate these apps. Instagram, don't get mad at me for saying this, but I don't own this app, and I understand that. So every day, I'm trying to get people on my list. I want to have more people on my email list than I have followers. And as a matter of fact, right now I do. I got more people on my email list than I have followers. I never want to have more followers than I got email addresses. My email list needs to be growing faster than my follower list. That is very important every single day because they will kick you off. And oh yeah, while you're using these apps, make sure you're using them as a producer, not just a consumer. So I use these apps to produce stuff and post stuff, not to be looking at y'all posts. So if I'm following any of y'all on Instagram and I don't never like your pictures, not because I don't like you, it's because I don't scroll, I don't be looking at people's pictures. I just get on here, post stuff, and I get off of it. Number 3, we're talking 6 things you gotta be doing every single day to build your business if you own a personal brand. And this could be for everybody too. Number 3, you gotta allow your buyers to identify themselves. So this is the next thing that you have to understand when you're owning a personal brand, is that a brand is not a business. A brand means people know about you, they know your name, they might know your little slogans, like I got work on your game, people know about that, people know me as Dre all day, that's all good, that's the brand. But the business has nothing to do with that. Just because a bunch of people know me doesn't mean I'm gonna make any money. You could be well known and broke, right? And you can also be a nobody and rich. So to allow your buyers to identify themselves, you have to give your buyers a way of identifying there's something that you're offering that they're willing to exchange money for, and they come and buy it. And hopefully they're buying it off of Instagram. I know Instagram is now, they're allowing you to sell stuff now. I see sometimes on the Explore tab, I saw it. I see these pictures, like it'll be a model with some clothes on, and then you could click on the clothes, the dress, and you could buy the dress right there on Instagram. Instagram is trying to counteract this. And this is all their hustle. I'm not mad at Instagram. I can't knock their hustle. This is a good business move by them, but it probably wouldn't be a smart business move by you to be selling all your stuff on their app, because if they decide to kick you off, they own your whole business. They own you. You don't have no independence. So figuring out how can you get people off the app and then sell them something over there. So when I tell you get a free copy of my book, The Third Day, what do I tell you? I tell you go to my website, thirddaybook.com. You get the book over there. Now I know your name, I know your phone number, I know your email address, I know your physical address. Not that I'm gonna stalk you. Hopefully y'all don't think I will. But now I send you the book. Now me and you got a relationship. Even if Instagram goes away, I can still communicate with you directly. I don't need Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, etc. So you have to have an offer. They call this an offer, something that somebody can buy. What is the offer? What can people buy? And understanding the first thing doesn't have to be a purchase. Your first engagement does not have to be a purchase. So you can have something for free. Some people call this a lead magnet, or they call it usually people call it a lead magnet, just something that people can come into your world with. So for example, I used to play basketball overseas. So I have this PDF that I made called 46 Things You Need to Know About Before You Play Overseas Basketball. It's free. All you got to do to get it is give me your email address. I'll give you the PDF. So you go to balloverseas.com/46, the number 46, and this is a real thing. So any of you who wants to play overseas, you can go download this right now. It's balloverseas.com/46. I'll give you the PDF. So I'm not charging you money, but now I got you on my list. So then when I do want to ask you for some money, I want to sell you something, like my book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint, which I'll give you for free, you just pay for the shipping. Now, I just added another step. So I just made it a little bit easier for you to come into my world. I'm not going to ask you for money up front. I'm going to give you something free up front, then ask you for money. So you can have 2, 3, 4, 5, however many steps that you want, depending on what you're selling. Now, being that the shipping for my book is $9, I'll ask people for that up front because it's a very low barrier to entry. But what if I'm selling something that costs $1,000? I might have several free things, or maybe a smaller price thing before I ask you for the $1,000 thing. So this is a whole process that you can put together, and this is all just strategizing about your business. And we're gonna go deeper into this at Work on Your Game Live. You see the link right there, workonyourgame.live. And by the way, anybody who's coming in here, I'm gonna answer all questions at the end. So if you got a question, just leave it in the comment, and I'm gonna address that in the comment section. And another thing I want y'all to understand about your offerings is that you want to use the 10x rule. And when I say the 10x rule, I'm not talking about Grant Cardone. Shout out to Grant Cardone, but I'm not talking about that 10x rule. I'm talking about the 10x rule of anything that you offer to people, you need to give them 10 times the value of whatever you're asking for. So if I offer you something and I ask you for $10, whatever I give you is going to be worth 100. So whatever I give you is going to be worth 10 times what you paid. So you get your ticket to Work on Your Game Live, I'm going to give you 10 times in value what you paid for the ticket. If I give you something for free, now 10 times 0 is 0, but understand the spirit of what I'm saying here is going to be worth as if you paid for it. All right, that's the whole thing. So even when you give people something for free, I'm going to make it worth money to you. So this right here is not costing you money. I'm just asking you for your time and attention, but I'm going to give you enough value that you're like, damn, that was what Dre just said. That was good. I never thought about that. Is that almost as if it was worth money? So everything that you give out needs to be worth money. My podcast comes out every day. I could be charging money for that podcast, but I give it to you for free so you can see, damn, if this free stuff is that good, imagine how good the paid stuff is. And that's the way that I approach things. And y'all should be approaching things the exact same way. And I don't mind giving this game away because most people listen to this stuff and they do absolutely nothing with it. But I think y'all are different. So y'all prove me wrong. Number 4, we are talking 6 things every personal brand owner needs to be doing for their business every day. Number 4, you must be doing something all the time. You got to be working on something that excites you for your future. And let me tell you why this one matters. This is a bigger picture, like mindset thing. Because when you're working on your thing, whatever you're doing, you're in the middle of writing a book, or you're putting together an event, or you're just trying to put together the overall structure of your business, and it might not be working at all times. Like, you're in the middle of writing a book. I just spent the last 2 days before today, I was writing this report that I'm putting together, and it's not that long. It's only like 30 pages, but it's still 30 pages of writing, and that can be a drag because it's not like nobody's paying me for writing it. I don't get paid until way after. If I get it out to people, then the next step, then they buy something. So I didn't get paid any money. There's no immediate gratification for me writing that. So in that process, and you go through enough days like that, you're trying to sell a book, nobody bought it yet. You're trying to get your business off the ground and it's not popping off yet. You're not making money yet. That can be depressing, and you can start feeling like, all right, why am I even doing this? You can start feeling like the whole thing is worthless or not even worth the time. You have to have something that you're working on at all times that excites you for your future, because that keeps you activated. That's the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning. That's the thing that makes you say, you know what? All right, let's get it. All right, this book hasn't popped off yet. I'm not making money that I want to make yet, but you know what? Let's get it. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving and make this thing happen. So you got to have something that keeps you excited and keeps you activated for moving forward in your life at all times. You can never just be working on something that's kind of like stagnant and not moving, because this is what happens to a lot of people is they start off excited. Now, we all start things excited, but then when it's not really popping, then our energy goes down to the point that then we just stop doing it, and then 2 years go by and you're like, damn, remember I was working on that thing? So you always have to have something that keeps you excited, because there will be times, guaranteed, I don't care how good you are, how much money you've made, how many fans and followers you got, there will be times when it feels like nothing is working, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Because to be an entrepreneur, one of the aspects of this game is that you're going to have ideas that do not work. You're going to have ideas that just don't pop. You're going to have something that you think is going to be amazing, and then you're going to put it out and you're going to get crickets. Nobody's going to respond to it. And it's going to take time to build up that traction and that momentum. So you always have to have something that keeps you excited to move you forward. So my question to everybody listening to this right now, are you working on something that fits that description? Number 5, and I'm going to answer questions at the end here. Number 5, 6 things you got to be doing every day as a personal brand owner. You must actively be bringing new blood into your world. What does that mean? New people, new eyeballs, new followers, new subscribers, new people on your list, new customers. You must always be bringing new blood into your world. Do not ever, ever, ever allow your business to become stagnant just with who you already have. Even if everything's going great with who you already have. You got 10 clients who pay you $100,000 each a year. That's $1 million, and you're happy because you're making $1 million a year. Do not get fat and lazy with just those 10 people, because what if 5 of them decide they don't want to renew next year? Now your money got cut in half, and you got a lifestyle that's supported by $1 million a year. Now you only got $500,000 a year. Now you got a problem. So, and I'm just using that as an example, but on any scale, you never want to get fat and happy with what you already have going on. If you're running a business, you want to continually have commerce coming in. You should always have new people coming into your business, meaning make yourself newly discoverable to new folks. Get new people onto your list. Have something new to offer to people who are already on your list, because, side note, I don't care how great your information is, and I think my information is great. I think my intellectual property is amazing. My frameworks, my strategies, my techniques, I think all my information is sharp and on point. But I guarantee you something, information alone is not going to keep people in my audience forever. Some people will come and people will go. People will come in, people will go out. That's just how it is, and because of the world that we're in today, everybody's sharing information. Everybody has information. Everybody has something that they want to share. Some of them have substance. Some of them are garbage. But it's so many of them is this big ocean. Like, I can see the Atlantic Ocean from where I'm sitting right now. And this is a big ocean with a whole bunch of fish in it. You are not going to keep people in your world just based off of information. You must be doing something to keep them excited, activated, paying attention, and always bringing new people in. Do not get stagnant with your business. So some ways to do this is advertising. When you're advertising, you always have new people seeing your stuff. Y'all on Instagram, many of y'all might have seen my ads on Instagram about my books and things like that, or even about my events. Another way to keep people coming in is publishing. I'm publishing right now by doing this live stream, by writing articles. Any of you who's on my email list, you see I'm emailing you like 4, 5, 6 times a week. I'm always sending emails because I'm always writing. I'm always putting out something new. And what does that do? It makes me discoverable. It means more people could possibly find me and see whatever it is that I wrote in my article. Maybe they'll like it, maybe they'll hate it, but that's fine. I want to put more stuff out so more people can find me. Another thing is appearing on other people's platforms. So if somebody has a podcast that's about discipline, I might reach out to them and say, yo, let me come on your podcast, and I got this book called The Third Day. It's about discipline, and let me tell you how my framework supports what your show is about. And they'll say, oh, that's a good idea. They'll bring me on the show. Now I get seen by their fans, and some of their fans are now become my fans. So that's another way that you can get yourself seen, heard, and known. Another thing is getting traditional media coverage. This is not dead, by the way. I know some of you millennials, you might think that nobody, quote unquote, watches TV or listens to the radio or reads newspapers, but older people do. They watch TV, they listen to the radio, and they read newspapers. And let me tell you something about older people. People who are like my parents' age, like 50, 60 years and up, they got money. Because people usually make their most money in life when they get older and older, because they had more time to build up their careers, more time to build up their investments. They have money to spend. And if you're in business, you're in the business of making money. You want to reach the people who actually have the money, because if you're only reaching out to people who are 20, 25, 27 years old, 22 years old. They just got out of college. A lot of them might be broke. They might not have any money. Yeah, they're following you. You're leaving comments on your posts, but can they afford to pay for what you're selling? Some of them can. All of them can't. But somebody who's twice their age, their mom, their grandma, they can afford it. So you got to be thinking about that as well. It's not just about being popular. It's about making money. And so you got to know what business that you're in. And I talked about that in episode 1515 of my podcast. It's called You Are a Marketer. My podcast is called Work on Your Game. The episode is called You Are a Marketer. It's episode 1515. And number 6, this is the last one. Then I'm going to take questions and comments. Things you need to be doing every single day to build up your brand as a personal brand owner. You must drill into. First of all, you got to hone in on. You got to get very clear on. Then you have to drill into the minds of your audience what you do and what you represent that makes you different from everybody else out here. In other words, what is your brand? What makes you different from anyone else who is writing books? How are you different from anybody else who's offering coaching? How are you different from anybody else who play ball? How are you different from anybody else who talks about motivation and mindset and confidence? How are you different from any other girl who's posting pictures with her ass out? What makes you different from everybody else out there? There needs to be something. This is literally your brand. How are you different? And you have to burn that onto the minds of your audience members. And some people will take to it. Some people won't be interested. But you need to know exactly what this is, and you got to share it over and over and over again. If you listen to my podcast, which is called Work on Your Game, first of all, you know my brand is called Work on Your Game. Everybody knows that. But when you listen to my show, you see I give the same intro every single day. It's the same intro every day. Discipline to show up every day, do the work. Confidence, put yourself out there boldly and authentically. Mental toughness, keep showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there. Even when the success you expect to achieve is yet to be achieved. Personal initiative. Go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. That's what the foundation of the Work on Your Game brand is. And when I ask people in my audience, what is it about my brand? Being that I'm talking about things that I didn't make up these topics. I didn't invent these topics. What is it about me that separates me from anyone else talking about these topics? And they tell me, they say, Dre, you keep it real. You have honest conversations about things. I might not even agree with you all the time, but I respect the fact that you lay out your argument and your objective about it, and you say what you actually believe, and that's a breath of fresh air, because not everybody does that these days. So I know that's my brand. I know that's what people are getting from me. So I know every time I turn on a camera or the microphone or I start writing, I know that's what people are expecting from me. It's not that I have this information that's just so groundbreaking. Yeah, my information is good. It's not that my information is so groundbreaking that it's different from everybody else's. Anybody can just copy anything that I say and they can go say it. But it's the way that I say it and the way that I approach it that makes it unique. You need to know what makes you unique. If you do not know what makes you unique, let me tell you something. Nobody in your audience knows what makes you unique. And here's the problem. That makes you very, very disposable and easily replaceable. And when you're easily replaceable, you do not have a brand. What you have is a problem, because you could easily be forgotten. Just as fast as you came in the game, you could be out of the game. So this is what we call your unique selling proposition, USP, not UPS, like the delivery truck, USP, unique selling proposition. What makes you different from anybody else out there in the game? And the easiest way for you to know this is to ask your audience. Ask your number one fans, your top customers, hey, what is it about me that makes me different from anybody else who's doing the same thing? Why are you interested in my stuff instead of anybody else who might be talking about the same thing? And listen to what they say. They will tell you exactly what makes you unique. So let your fans tell you. You don't say it, let them say it. They will tell you and you'll know exactly what it is. Because you might think everything about you is unique, right? All of us are so self-centered and we all think that everything we do is so great. But your customers and your fans, they'll tell you the one thing, is usually one thing about you that really makes you stand out to them. That's the thing that you need to focus on because that's what they want. And in business, your job is not to give people what you want to give them. You want to give them what they want. And sometimes those are two different things. So what do they want? Not what you think is the best about you, what they think is the best about you, because what they think is the best, that's the thing they're going to pay for. And remember, you are in the business of making money. So with all 6 of those things said, I'm going to recap the 6 and then I'm going to take questions. You got a question or comment, go ahead and post it, and I'm going to go through the comments and see what people said. 6 things. Number 1, be discoverable. Number 2, get people off the apps and onto your list. Number 3, allow buyers to identify themselves. Number 4, be working on something that excites you for the future. Number 5, always be bringing new blood into your world. Number 6, know exactly what makes you unique and different from everybody else in the game. You cannot just be a normal person who's doing the same thing as everybody else who's in here. So let me see what we got here in the comments section. Anthony Oloyedi, what's going on, bro? I appreciate it. Your family through the podcast, see? Case in point right there. Players Coach LLC, what's going on, my man? Mad Dog Alley was good. Which of my books is best for masculine personal development? I would suggest Work on Your Game. I got a book called Work on Your Game. You can get that at workonyourgamebook.com, or you can get it as part of the Mental Game Super Duper bundle when you get your free copy of the third day at thirddaybook.com. So I basically just gave you 2 different ways to get that. Let me see if I can. I'll post the link. So workonyourgamebook.com, Mad Dog Alley is where you can get a copy of Work on Your Game. Or you can go to thirddaybook.com. Let me post that link too. I would suggest you go to thirddaybook.com because we'll give you more books, more bang for your buck. That's why I put the books in bundles because I got so many books, so you don't have to buy them one at a time. Let's see. Mad Dog, just Fly Guy said, I was frustrated about that yesterday. I got a bunch of followers, but not everyone sees my posts. No, they never will, Fly Guy. That's Instagram set it up like that. They're gonna make you pay. They're gonna make you pay for your own followers to see your stuff. That's the game. That's the game. I ain't mad at Instagram. It's a good. If I own Instagram, I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be making y'all pay too. That's what they're supposed to do. They got everybody on here, got your whole life on here, and now they're gonna make you pay to access your own friends. Shout out to Chandler. Mikos bought the first badge. Appreciate you. She said, let's support Dre with some badges. Yeah, everybody else listening to Chandler, support me with some badges. Belfer said, this sounds familiar. App equals jobs. Yeah, well, when you are on the app, it's kind of like they own it. I mean, none of us own anything on this app. So, Bell, I'm sure you probably heard me talk about that before. 369 fam, yes sir. I'll see you at Work on Your Game live. Any of y'all didn't get your tickets to that event yet, it is at that pin link. Workonyourgame.live is the event. It's May 5th and 6th. So if y'all watching this on replay, if it's after May 5th or 6th, then you might have missed it. But everybody else, you got time. If you're watching this live, you got time. And I think, did I answer everything? Always Training said 48 Laws of Power or Think and Grow Rich, best choice for self-development and entrepreneurship. I think that you answered your own question. One is self-development. 48 Laws of Power is more of a mindset book, mindset and personal strategy. And Think and Grow Rich is not necessarily entrepreneurship. It's more mindset too. Both of those books are more mindset. 48 Laws is more about, interpersonal skills. And Think and Grow Rich is more about with yourself. The 48 Laws is a really good book for dealing with other people. That's what I like about it. Think and Grow Rich is about yourself. You need to read both of them, Always Training. So this is not, when it comes to books, there's no either or. If you're gonna choose either or amongst like the nonsense stuff. Like, are you gonna be on TikTok or Instagram? Pick one of those and throw the other one away. But don't throw away books. Any book that you hear about, you should go read it. Even if it's a bad book, you should read it. Every book has something in it that's worth something. King Me says, the best way to work on talking to new people and advertising your business in person. King Me, what is your business? Let's get specific. I can help you out with that. So best way to work on talking to new people is you just got to get in conversations, get in more conversations. I would suggest joining something like Toastmasters, where you can consciously work on your communication skills, both talking and listening. Another thing, I did a podcast episode on this exact topic, is working on your communication skills. One thing that a lot of people don't know about is get your favorite book and read it out loud every day. So any book that you like, I don't care what it is, and just read it out loud. Read out loud to yourself, because the words in that book were well put together and thought out by the author. And if you just read what they're saying and you're saying it, your communication skills will improve, because whatever type of stuff you read or listen to on a day-to-day basis, you're going to start thinking and talking like that person. So if you listen to rap music all day, every day, you're going to start thinking and talking like the music that you listen to. If you read books all day, you're going to start thinking and talking like the books that you read. That 100% happens. So that's one thing just on a skill level. But as far as talking to specific people, it depends on what kind of business you're doing. 369 says, have I read Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco? No, I haven't. I haven't heard of that book, but I'm going to look it up. Thanks for mentioning it. King Me said you're an auto deal. So like people come to the lot to talk to you. Then number one, I would suggest you definitely join a Toastmasters or something like that. I would suggest you might take a look at a Dale Carnegie course, where that is all about just learning how to communicate, learning how to just walk up to somebody, shake their hand, start a conversation. I have a book called 25 Conversation Starters. I got books on everything, so I would suggest you read 25 Conversation Starters as part of my leadership bundle. You can get that also when you go to thirddaybook.com. And that book is all about, is literally exactly as it says, 25 ways that you can start a conversation with another person. One of the keys is asking open-ended questions and being able to keep a conversation flowing. So any of you young men, whenever you're talking to a young lady that you're interested in, it's important that you be able to keep the conversation going, right? If she says something, you say something back. Can you keep the conversation flowing? That's half the battle to moving that situation forward. Let's put it like that. So that I would suggest you just take some classes and some courses and join some groups where you can actually work on communication skills. I would go to networking events. Is another thing that you can do, where it's people who's there for the very purpose of just meeting people and shaking hands and talking, so it won't be that awkward. And another thing you can do is think of your friends who are the most gregarious people that you know, people who are really good communicators, good talkers. They're good at talking to people and they seem to be friendly and they can get along with anybody. Those kind of people, you should hang with them, hang out with them more, because their personality will start rubbing off on you. Their social skills will rub off on you. Whoever you're around, you become, right? Y'all heard the law of association, right? You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. So if you want to get better at talking to people, hang with people who are already good at talking to people, and you will get better at it. Whatever you want to get good at, hang with people who are already good at it. And if you don't know anybody who's good at it, go find somebody who appears to have that skill, whether they're on the internet, they wrote a book, on YouTube, whatever, and then get into their world. They probably got an email list. They probably have courses. They probably sell products. They probably have an event. They might have a mastermind. They might have coaching, and get into that world. So go find a person who already has the skills that you want, and then do what you need to do to get into their world, and their skills will start to rub off on you because you're in their world. So that's the good thing about the internet. There are drawbacks to the internet, but one positive thing is anything that you're looking for, there's somebody out here who has it. There's probably 100 people out here who have it, so you just get to pick and choose. 369 said Socratic questioning. Yes, that helps as well. I think the first step for King Me first is just got to get good at talking, period. Then the questioning comes in later. It's kind of a secondary skill. First, you got to get the skill of actually having a conversation. So with all that said, you've been following since high school. How old are you now? King Me 777. You said since high school, but I don't know where you are now. But hopefully that's useful. There's a book by Larry King. Larry King was a TV host on, I think it was on CNN. Old white guy. I think he might have died. Did Larry King die? I think he might have died recently. He died? He died. But he had a book called How to Talk to Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime. That's a good book about just conversation skills. Because Larry King's TV show was just him just having a conversation with people. It wasn't like it wasn't gotcha journalism. He wasn't talking about necessarily hot button topics. He was just had people on. He was just talk to them. Just a conversation, kind of like Oprah, similar type of way. But Larry King, look up his book. you can spell his name. And it's called How to Talk to Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime. And it's just a good book about just conversational skills. Just being able to talk to people. And all these people got TV shows that have written books. Oprah got books. Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert. All these people got TV shows that have books. Like even Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh. Anybody with a TV show has a book. Steve Harvey. Everybody who has a TV show has written a book. And they're all good communicators. They're all good at conversation. And I think that's what you're asking about. How to get good at conversation. You should get all of their books and read all of them. There's no downside to reading a book. Even if it's not even that great of a book. There's no downside to it. So get all the books. So with all that said, everybody, Work on Your Game Live is on May 5th and 6th. So that's like 3 weeks away. I'm going to be doing more live streams over these next couple weeks as I do more promotion leading up to this event. This is specifically for the thought leaders and intellectual property salespeople, entrepreneurs who want to take the knowledge that's in your head and you want to sell it and make a business out of it. That's specifically who this event is targeted to. You can get your ticket by going to that link right there. Workonyourgame.live is a 2-day event. I'm be giving you, we're going to start with the mindset, then we go into the principles, the strategies, the accountabilities, and executions. So, and then the tactics, which is the last level. The thing usually most people start with the tactics. Tactics are actually the last thing you should be doing. We're going to be going over that. Workonyourgame.live, May 5th and 6th. Your tickets are at workonyourgame.live. There's also the link in my bio on Instagram. So if you're watching this on replay and you can't see the comments, you can just go to the link in my bio up through May 5th and 6th. Then I'm going to take that link down, change it. So everybody, I appreciate y'all time here. I'll be watching NBA playoffs. My hometown Sixers are playing against the Raptors. And a lot of people think the Raptors are going to win. They are wrong. The Sixers are going to win because we got the best player in the series, Joel Embiid. And James Harden, he ain't that James Harden anymore, but he's going to play good. All right, he knows all the pressure's on him. He said that he doesn't think it's pressure, but he knows it's pressure. He's going to show up and he's going to make it happen. So, Always Training said, podcast episode number of detachment from old family and friends who don't want to grow, who don't want growth or success like you. Well, I got 2,100 episodes, Always Training, so I would suggest you go to workonyourgamepodcast.com. Let me grab that link. Workonyourgamepodcast.com. Always Training. Go to that link right there, workonyourgamepodcast.com. That's where you can see every episode that I ever put out of the show. That's the best way you can find it because I got too many episodes. I can't just go and grab numbers for you. Not right now while I'm doing this live. But if you go there and just subscribe to the show, and then you can listen to every episode whenever you want. Chandler said, thank you. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the badge. Big R. Yeah, Sixers. Sixers is my hometown team. I'm from Philadelphia. A lot of people don't know that. I'm from Philly. I live in Miami. I'm not moving back to Philly. But I'm from Philly. We will win in the first round. And if the Sixers win the first round, they the number 4 seed, and the Heat win down here in Miami, then it'll be the Sixers against the Heat in round 2. That'll be a good-ass series. I'm looking forward to that. But we got to take care of business first and win the first round. So that's where I'm at. Everybody have a good afternoon. Hit me in the DM if you got a question, or you can text me. Let me put my text number. That's the last thing I'm going to say. My text number is right there. Anybody who wants to text me, hit me at that number right there, 305-384-6894. That's my text number. I send out a daily motivation every single day for free for everyone who is in my texting community. Question is, Chandler, what's one goal you're working towards achieving before the end of the year? So one thing I'll tell you, Chandler, is I don't hardly ever announce my goals. I talked about that in my book, Work on Your Game. But one thing that I will say, let me see if I can give you one that I'm working on. One thing that I'm going to work on this year, and I've been talking about this a lot actually over the last, especially since Q2 started, quarter 2 of the year, is implementation is the biggest thing. Because in the world that we live in today, is always new information coming out, right? I just gave y'all 6 pieces of might be new information to some people. And I got an event coming up where I'm going to give you what might be new information to a lot of people. The challenge for all of us is that even though there's always new information being thrown at us that we can take that can actually even be useful, and everything I give you will be useful, guaranteed, is that sometimes we get so much into the habit of consuming new information that we never take the time to implement the information that we already got. I won't even call it old, because it's not old information. It's information we already have, but we haven't implemented it yet. So one of the biggest things for me through the rest of this year, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, is implementation. I want to make sure that everything is systematized. There's a process for everything. There's a strategy and there's a structure for every single thing that I'm doing. I already work with a lot of structures and processes and strategies, but I think they could be tighter. I want to make them airtight to where even if I didn't work and somebody came and took my place for a week, they can keep everything running smoothly and perfectly, and they won't have any questions. So the biggest thing for me is implementation. Implement. And one of the things I talked about, episode 2013 of my podcast, the same things, the same way, every time. This is what professionals do. This is what I did as an athlete. This is what I do now as an entrepreneur. This is how, y'all want to know how I put out a podcast episode every day, how I write so many articles, how I'm able to put out so much material, because I follow the same process, the same way every time. I do not make it up as I go along. I'm not a magician. I don't need to pull a rabbit out of the hat. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. That's what everybody does. That's what Beyonce does, is what Taylor Swift does, is what LeBron James does, is what name any successful person that you know of. It's the same things the same way every time. You might not know what they're doing, but I guarantee you the only way you can be that good for that long is you must have processes and systems, and you implement. You're not always coming up with something new, you're implementing. So that's a good question there, Chandler. And I talk about that on my podcast. By the way, everybody, I got a daily podcast. I call mine a masterclass. It is called Work on Your Game. If you couldn't guess, the name of it is on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, all of that. Y'all know where to find this stuff. All right, so we wrapping this up, everybody. Hit me in the DM or send me a text if you want to continue conversation. Got any questions for me? Work on your game. We out of here. Dre all day.